Hello and welcome to the video demonstration of the Datalinx Warehouse Manager X3 for Sage X3. In this video I'm going to take some time just to show some of the principles around the users, how you set users up, the screens, the layouts, etc. This is not about the functionality of the product, it's more about how a user is set up, how they the controls that you have over menu options, etc. So what you're looking at on the screen here on the right hand side, there's a simulation of the handheld client, and you'll see us operating that and changing the menus around. And then on the main server administration, you can see here there's various options around menus, translations, users, etc. So really this is about what the user sees on the handheld, and it's controlled by the user type. So if I switch on the handheld, the first thing that the handheld's doing is set at a login ID. And that login ID will be a user of the warehouse. Typically an individual will have their own user as opposed to groups using the same IDs. And if we look at the users within the admin tool here, you can see we've got 5 users set up here. And these users are the login that I'll be using in a moment, the default site that the user is logged into, and the language that we serve to the handheld as well. And you'll see some of that as we go forward. As far as users are concerned, this all the communications into X3 is via web services, and the user has to be configured within X3 itself, so it has to be a valid user because we use their credentials in various parts of the product. But we don't consume a user, at least not a Sage complete or inquiry user. Yes, we're using web services, and depending on the version of X3 that you're using, you'd have to make sure that you've got enough web service channels, or in update 9 and enough allowance to allow our communications in through the product. The user themselves, as mentioned here, I'm just using simple user 1 through 5, and the language here. So if on the handheld, the first thing I do is log in as user 1, and it'll present up a password. Again, that password is the X3 password. I'll just enter that in. Let me just retype that. Okay, and we select on the touch screen OK, and it presents me the menu. Now the menu name is at the top here, warehouse user. Okay, so as we were saying, we look at the warehouse user here, and if I select the same menu item or the menu type here in the admin tool, you can see the options are presented on the handheld here in the same sequence as the buttons here. Okay, and you have control over the names, the labels that are put onto these tabs as well. And just to show that in operation, for example, if you wanted stock management at the top, what I can do here is click here, present that up, and I've moved, now you can see stock management from the 4th item down to the top item. Okay. If I just select one of the items on the handheld and go back to menu, and you'll notice I haven't re-logged in, I haven't changed anything as far as the handheld. All I've done is refresh the menu, and it's presented that up on the top top screen. So central controlling the menus through the administrator here serves it to the handheld the next time the user logs on or refreshes the menu. As far as what each user gets to see and how you build these, again, this is about how you add in menus and submenus and business transactions into the screens. So you have control, and you can build which functions and which items are presented on each of the handheld menus, and then using the warehouse user name or the name that you've called the menu and the users, you can then present them the screens that they use. Okay, so here you can see the different users are getting presented different items. Just coming back onto the users for a moment, this one here, which is a Polish user, if I just pop up a secondary handheld here, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in. So I'll just switch the client on, and this time rather than using user 2 that I used last time, I'm going to use user 3 because it's a Polish user. And the moment I enter myself as a user, you can see already it's starting to serve a different language. So we haven't even got in through to the screens, and it's presenting up different text. Again, as I log in here, now you can see all the labels have changed. Functionality is the same. You can see it's actually in the same location. And this is using a combination of the Sage language packs where we can use the languages there, plus within our admin tool there's a whole set of translations that can be set up. There's a few hundred setups that need to be done for the full set. So I'll just try and find one that's got the translation. So there you can see the translation in Polish in this case, in English in a different case, and these are fields and flags that tend to go onto the handheld. But it does also give you the control as a site or as a business partner to start managing this. The other beauty of this is you can actually set up this to be different text for yourselves, which means if you've got specific site phrases and languages that you use, we call this, for example, a pick ticket. Somebody might call it a picking docket. Well, you can just change the wording from ticket to docket, and that's what will be presented up on the handheld. So hopefully through this video you've seen some of the controls that just make the user easy, or the presentation of the product to the user easier, and it allows you to have some controls on what a user sees, what options they get, and how the various programs are presented to the user. Thank you for taking the time to look at this video on the user admin side of things. If you want more information, want to look at the product in more detail, there should be more videos online for you, or feel free to contact us on the numbers on the screen and email addresses. Thank you, and we look forward to talking to you in the future.